It's time for Ask Mike Mondays. Mike answers one listener's question every week. Here's Michael Becker and Paul Peebles.
Welcome to Ask Mike Mondays. I'm your host, Paul Peebles. Joining me today, of course, smartest guy in the room, Michael Becker.
Hey, Paul.
So, you know Michael. He has a little bit less than 5,000 apartment units in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He has raised over $90 million in capital. He's gone full cycle in about 10 deals. Michael,
10 deals.
What's full cycle mean? I have no idea what that means.
So meaning that you buy it, you implement your strategy, and then you go have a capital event. So far, we sold 8, which we got 1 more in escrow right now and a couple on the market. And then we refinanced out 2 and did full cash outs on them. So that's what we consider full cycle.
I got it. And up to his eyeballs, a non-recourse apartment debt.
That's right.
He is the man. So on Ask Mike Mondays, this Ask Mike Monday, Mike, I want to get smart in multifamily. What do you read? Is there anything out there that I need to start reading and paying attention to?
What I focus on, is a lot of just kind of market data and what's going on out in the national market, kind of the general economy, and then just, my specific market and how that's going to impact the multifamily. So some of the publications kind of break it down in between kind of 2 categories, really. One would be kind of the stuff that's free, and the other that are services that we subscribe to and pay, monthly fees. Kind of on the free side, BizNow, they're in most major markets. They have a whole lot of just kind of market reports that they put out daily, just little articles about what's going on, kind of recent transactions, or, they also host a bunch of events as well. So I would definitely sign up for the BizNow in the market that you live in or where you want to operate. Another thing I read is a multifamily executive magazine that's online and free. Very, very topical, industry-specific information and kind of some of the recent trends in development, and then just kind of, overall market information. So that's a good one. Another one is a National Real Estate Investor that comes out daily. They have multiple articles on, both multifamily and the commercial real estate asset classes as well. Here locally in Texas, and I think also in California, Connect.media, they have news, kind of so just economic news and news about commercial real estate, including multifamily. And then finally, I think that's just locally, the France Media, they also put out like a monthly newsletter about the Texas Business Journal, I think is what it's called. And they kind of discuss economic events and business events in the state. Some of the stuff that you can go out and subscribe to, 2 that we definitely subscribe to is CoStar. That's, can be kind of expensive, but CoStar has quite a bit of information. They also do publish articles that are free, so you can go to the website and find some free articles about what's going on in the industry, as well as ALN, which is Apartment Listing Network. And then ALN has, some articles they put out, but a lot of it's really just about rent surveys and occupancy surveys and what's going on specific properties. So those are 2 that we subscribe to. A couple others that are really good. Or Yardi Matrix, they have a bunch of information that they put out, a lot of free articles as well as paid subscription for stuff. We do use Yardi for our management software, so we do have that, but we don't subscribe to their data service. And then finally, you got Axiometrics and RealPage, which owns MPF Research, and our friend Greg Willett that we've had on the podcast before. They have some webcasts on YouTube that you can go out and read, as well as a bunch of articles about what's going on in different marketplaces. And then kind of moving on, I think it's finally maybe like a third category, or some ways you can go out and get educated. So really the ways you go get educated is you can listen, read those articles that we mentioned. There's several books out there that talk about apartment investing. Listening to podcasts are good ways of doing that. And then going out to certain conferences. Like, for example, we talked about the upcoming Old Capital Conference that's in Addison on October the 5th. That's a good way to go out, get to hear a bunch of brokers and management companies talk about, kind of state of the market, as well as you get networking. There's also other multifamily conferences, like BizNow puts on several of them, as well as Marcus & Millichap has a big one in most of the major markets. And then finally, one of the best things that Paul and I always talk about is maybe joining a local mentoring club and learn from someone that's actually been there and done that and kind of shortcut a lot of the potential pitfalls in this business.
Do you listen to podcasts at all, Mike?
Yeah, I listen to quite a few. So not only ours, I listen to, like the Real Estate Guys are our friends. I've been on there a few times in several of their events. So I think that's a good one as well. There's several other podcasts out there that I like and listen to as well. So it's not just us. There's multiple podcasts out there. And I think it's a good way to get educated for free.
Yeah, that's good information, is that you definitely cannot be too smart when it comes to multifamily, but without making some major mistakes. You want to listen to the podcast for people who have made mistakes. You want to listen to some of these conferences. Mike talks at a lot of these conferences too. So if Mike is available to be up on stage,
Yeah, I think September 13th, I'm at the Interface Conference. I'm speaking on a panel there. That's in Addison, I believe it is. So certainly if anyone wants to look that up, and they'll be coming up here pretty quick when this podcast is released. But the Interface Conference, I'll be speaking out on September 13th.
That's great. Now, if somebody wanted to get to know you better, Mike, what's kind of the best way for them to get to know you?
The best way is just go to our company's website, which is www.spiadvisor.com. That's SPI like spy advisor.com. And on there's a contact us, our contact page. You fill out a form and we'll set up a quick call, kind of discuss, maybe 10 or 15 minute call to kind of do an introduction and get to know each other a little bit.
That's fantastic. So you're going to be hosting a panel for the Old Capital Multifamily Conference on October 5th. Tell us a little bit more about that conference, Mike.
Yeah, so we're going to have multiple panels. The one I'm going to host, we can talk about here now, is going to be the broker panel. So we're going to have a couple guys from Marcus and Millichap up there, as well as ARA, Apartment Realty Advisors, and Rowan Properties, a boutique local firm, and CBRE, which is the largest national brokerage firm, both in all commercial real estate asset classes, including multifamily. So we're going to have some of their local representatives there talk about kind of the state of the market. We'll ask questions about how do they effectively work with brokers and kind of hear it straight from the broker's mouth on what are the do's and don'ts in working with brokers. So that's the panel I'm going to host. We did just sign up a new keynote speaker, right, Paul? Maybe talk about that a little bit.
That's going to be an interesting one because in single families, you can kind of do this in a silo. You kind of do it by yourself. But in multifamily, you really need teammates. You need qualified people that have your back, whether it is an attorney, a banker, an engineer to review the property. And you need your support group because we just don't do this all by ourselves. And so this keynote speaker for our conference is going to be a gentleman named Rob O'Neill. Rob O'Neill, I don't know if you have heard that name before, but Rob was instrumental in bringing justice to Osama bin Laden. He is the guy that was part of SEAL Team 6, and he's going to talk about what went on during that period of time. I think that's a great story to listen to, because he's the epitome of having teammates. You just don't walk in there by yourself and do it. You have to work with other teammates to get stuff done. So I think that's going to be an exciting piece of the Old Capital Multifamily Conference. And so to get information about that conference and to listen to Rob and listen to Mike and some management companies and to listen to some lenders, we're going to have Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac representatives there. Go to the oldcapitalpodcast.com, oldcapitalpodcast.com, sign up for that conference. I think you will really enjoy that. There are only less than 40 tickets remaining. So make sure that you are able to go to that conference. So anything else, Mike?
That's it. Yeah, definitely. Well, you're on oldcapitalpodcast.com. That's certainly there. You can sign up for our 15-page white paper, kind of the multifamily finance 101. And of course, if you guys like this, certainly rate and review it on iTunes or Stitcher or SoundCloud or one of the podcast aggregators, and tell a friend. It's always a good thing. We certainly want to try to grow our listener base, and anything you could do, anyone that you might think is interested, if you send a referral, we'd certainly appreciate it.
That's great. I'm Paul Peebles. That was Michael Becker, smartest guy in the room. Have a good day.